Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SocialLIVE. We have Jules here as the co-host, or maybe I am the guest host, actually.
No,
you're on it
that is not true. That is not true.
But happy to be here with you today, and we have Ashley Hesseltine here with us today. She'll be joining us at the end of the show. We'll get to pick her brain on what it's like to be an influencer with some meme accounts and a podcast. And we also have a lot of updates for you. This was a very, very busy week in social media land. And I know you're super excited about this one.
I'm excited about this drama between the Instagram co-founders and Facebook. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the news came out that Instagram's co-founders, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, are leaving the company. They have resigned from Instagram. And
this didn't surprise me, although I see it everywhere. And
you gave me a different perspective on it when we started talking about it.
People that I know who have sold their companies, typically they do it because they want to leave the company. I was actually surprised that they stayed so long, but maybe you've been reading a lot of other articles that show a different perspective.
Well, what surprised me, what kind of blew my mind was that when they started the company, they were 13 people. And now they're over 1,000 with offices all over the world. Like, that just blew me away.
I know 13 people, and I don't know how much revenue they had at the time, but I think that they sold for almost $1 billion, which is insane when you have 13 people. I can't even wrap my head around that. And now they are just growing and growing and have over 1 billion users. And the amount of success that they've had over the years since they joined with Facebook is just so incredible. And I'm seeing a lot of my favorite influencers post about how they're scared, they don't know what's going to happen. But then you told me something, and it might be a rumor, we haven't confirmed this, correct? That Mark Zuckerberg was really pushing for Instagram stories and they didn't want to.
Exactly.
And now look, Instagram stories, I don't know what I would do without Instagram stories.
I know, I can't imagine the app without it at this point. But that was apparently a big point of frustration for the co-founders of Instagram, and they didn't want to copy the feature from Snapchat, and now they've surpassed Snapchat by a long shot. But I think it's so interesting because they were saying in some of the articles I was reading that Mark Zuckerberg personally requested that Instagram develop their own stories feature, and I feel like that was his way of getting back at Snapchat after he couldn't buy
That
Snapchat.
Probably was his way of getting back at Snapchat, but also
very Regina George of him.
I think it was a great thing that Mark Zuckerberg, put the executive order in and said, hey, we got to do this, because it really worked out for them, and you do have to take risks as a company, and this one really worked out for them. And I know that they've been continuously trying new things. Some things work, some things don't, but you just have to keep doing that to stay relevant and competitive with all of the other apps that are out there. So what's your big prediction? What do you think is going to happen to Instagram now that they don't have their original leaders?
I don't know. I don't think there will be any major changes for at least a few months until they kind of figure out what they're going to do. But I wonder if some of the features that maybe Facebook has rolled out in the last year, so some of these smaller ones that haven't really taken off.
Groups?
Like groups or some of the trivia features, the music features, stuff like that, if that's going to come to Instagram. And I really hope it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, time will tell what happens with Instagram. I only see it growing and growing, and I think that they're headed in the right direction. And they probably put, proper leadership in place and order in place, so we'll see what happens. And I know that they made an announcement that they're looking forward to learning something new.
Yeah, so I want to know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to, are they going to come out with another social media platform or another app that's going to revolutionize our lives?
Oh my God, I would love it. It'll give us a lot more to talk about.
It did. Reading all these stories yesterday, I was like, wow, I remember my first Instagram post, and it just kind of made me nostalgic for old filters.
I need to go back and look at my first Instagram posts. I have no idea.
I've deleted a bunch of my old ones because they were just stupid.
I think I have
and I thought really did think I was Annie Leibovitz taking photos of my dog with a dark filter on it, and I was like, she's gorgeous.
Well, I'm sure it looks good. Everyone's their own worst critic. But in other big news, actually, I think I was more excited about this update than the other update, because I figured, that was just going to happen at some point. But Instagram now wants to end overhashing. And this is something that I don't know if I ever vocalized it, but I always thought Instagram should do this, where in the back end, like you would tag, if you have your own website, you put a bunch of tags in the back end. Now you can actually add hashtags to a specific section as you're creating your Instagram post. And I don't know if it's actually going to be seen on the feed of what hashtags you use, but essentially it's going to end like that 30 hashtags that you see in a comment. You're not going to have to wonder what's going to happen if you post in the second comment versus the first comment. And I think it's just going to make it a much more seamless experience, and also it's going to allow content to be much more discoverable, which is always great for engagement. But I love this one.
I'm
really
too.
excited about this one.
I hate when I see a post with like a million hashtags at the end of the like caption, you know, or like a bunch of hashtag words throughout the post.
And
I'm
the
like,
thing is, we all know what the purpose of that is,
Yeah,
right?
they just
Everyone wants to
likes.
get more likes. They want to get more followers. They want to end up in, you know, the Explorer tab. So I like this one. It just, you know, gets rid of this awkwardness on Instagram where you know you want to do it, but you're embarrassed to do it, and now you don't even have to think about it. You'll just have a new option or a new way of doing it. So great job, Instagram.
Yeah. Is this like the founders' like final thing? They're like, and now
It could have been the founders,
they bow
or it
out.
could have been Mark Zuckerberg. We don't know.
Who knows? Another big update this week that we actually reported on when this was found in some of the code or, you know, being tested. Snapchat has officially launched their partnership with Amazon. So through the Snapchat lens, you'll be able to take a photo of an object and shop it through Amazon immediately.
This is incredible, and I think just a terrible thing for retail because you know, you're going to be shopping through the aisles, and you're definitely going to want to price check to see if you can get it cheaper on Amazon. And if you can, you just hit a button and you'll get delivered if you have Prime the next day. So while this is so amazing for convenience and it's really, really innovative, I worry about what's going to happen to retail since you can buy most things on Amazon.
Exactly. I just think it's so interesting, all of these e-commerce updates coming to Instagram and all these other platforms. And I think it's a huge move for Snapchat to partner with Amazon. I think I read they have 560 million products listed on Amazon.
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
nuts.
Well, the other good thing for consumers will be, you know, retail will have to lower their prices to be competitive with what's on Amazon. So we'll hopefully have to pay less for things.
Please, I hope so. Do you ever buy clothes on Amazon?
No, but I've heard good things. I haven't done
too.
that yet. I will be honest, actually, I am not a big Amazon shopper.
Thank you, Courtney.
I'm not.
Me too, and everyone.
My mom
puts me on
is.
blast.
Stephanie, I think Stephanie is a big Amazon
Stephanie's on Amazon
buyer.
right now. I bet.
But no, I'm not. I actually forget. I'm like, oh, I could buy this on Amazon. Why didn't I think to do that? But for whatever reason, it's not top of mind for me. I know it will be in my future.
Yeah.
But for now, I just haven't been, I'm not an Amazon addict like a lot of people.
I'm not either. And I don't have a Prime account, which I know is like social
I think
suicide.
I do.
But
Social suicide. You have to wait 7 days for that? Oh, that's
but I
terrible.
basically, I just like add to cart. But I kind of do that all over the place.
You add to your Amazon cart and don't buy anything.
Yeah, well, that's just my general shopping
like
strategy.
What, like cleaning supplies? That's what I buy on Amazon.
Furniture. And my apartment is petite, and I'm like, I do need a sectional. I'm never gonna buy it.
So funny. Well, I'm sure Amazon will find a way to convince you to buy that couch. They're pretty good at that.
I might start using.
So another update that I like, we were talking about this and debating about it. You don't love this one, but I do. So Facebook now allows pages to join Facebook groups. So I don't know if you've noticed, but if you're in a group, all of their content just floods your newsfeed. I actually like that. I'm in a lot of groups and I learn a lot of things from them, so I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But I think that this is really, really great update for brands to join the conversation. But what it means is now you have to get your community managers really on top of figuring out what groups your brand should join and then going over with them what conversations they should join and who to interact with. So this is going to create, you know, a whole separate social media strategy that we'll have to start thinking about for our clients.
Now that I think about this a little bit more, we were talking about this before the show too. I think this actually could be better than I thought initially because I see a lot of people in some of the groups I'm in either commenting or posting about the same question over and over again. And if maybe like a page could go in and like start a conversation and it's a little more organized, that would be very helpful.
Or even an influencer or celebrity. So I'm sure influencers and celebrities have their own personal Instagram pages, but they don't want to, Facebook pages, but they don't want to, share with the world who they are. I'm sure they want to keep it private, but now they can use their public figure profile to go into these groups and comment. And I'm sure you would love, Kim Kardashian or Kanye West to respond to whatever you posted in that group the other day.
But I would know it wasn't really them. That is like in some of the groups I'm in.
Maybe it is.
Maybe.
No, you would know.
She's just on Twitter.
Hey, Kanye is all over Twitter. I think that is really him.
And Instagram. He's been super active recently.
He wouldn't let anyone take over his public figure page. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this is a great thing.
Stay tuned,
All right, and now let's laugh. I need a really good laugh, and I know that comedians hate when you say, tell me a good joke, so I'm not going to say that, but I'm hoping we get some good laughs. So without further ado, Ashley, please join us. And
Hello.
Ashley.
Oh, wow. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you. So first off, huge congratulations. Your show at Caroline's was sold out.
It was.
So as a stand-up comedian, I'm sure that was a huge moment for you. What was that like?
Yeah, so it was our first live podcast for the podcast that I co-host called Girls Gotta Eat, and we did a show at Caroline's, sold out in like 5 days. It was just we were so blown away. And our parents came in town, and our friends came, and all of the fans and the listeners.
Yeah.
It was very surreal. And I performed at Caroline's, like just stand up,
Yeah.
It wasn't sold out when I was there. Like it's a 300-person venue, and
That's
people are like
amazing.
screaming and yelling. We were like, oh my God. And my mom, I guess I didn't tell her it sold out. I don't know. So she was like, what if no one comes? Like I forgot to tell her. So she's just sitting there like, what if this is so embarrassing for my daughter? And then she was just like floored. Like her and my dad were like, what is
That's
happening?
amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't get tickets in time, but I saw
Next
on
time.
Instagram you had so many guests from the podcast come back for the live show.
Yeah, well,
That's so cool.
we record here in New York, so the people are here in New York. So we wanted to have all the people in the room or listeners of the podcast. We were like, let's have our former guests on. And
Yeah.
we did it all like surprise, like who's going to come on the stage next. It was great. So
That's really cool.
I had just listened to the episode with the 12ish Style and
Uh-huh.
saw that she came on, and that was such a good episode.
She's so
She's
great.
so funny.
yeah, she's so funny.
So anyone can listen, right?
Yeah.
To the,
We have new
Okay,
episodes every Monday. iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast.
Oh no, for the show that you did at Caroline's. Is it a podcast too, or
No.
videotaped? Can we watch it somewhere?
We'll release some clips here and
Okay.
there, but we just kind of want to keep that experience. Like,
Okay.
you have to kind of see you have to come to the shows to get it.
Makes
It's hard to
sense.
translate what happened into like an audio
Yeah.
recording. So we'll have snippets here and there, but we don't want to be full.
Got it.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone ever skipping the show because they're like, oh, we can
Yeah.
just listen.
Exactly. That's smart.
So
we want to talk a lot about the podcast, but let's talk social media first, because
Okay.
you created and run a ton of different accounts. Literally Buying, Bros Being Basic, and
Yeah.
your account.
and mine, and and we have Girls Gotta Eat. Yeah.
How did you get started?
So Bros Being Basic is a parody account, like guys kind of acting like girls on Instagram.
Yeah.
It started from a blog I wrote in 2014 called What If Guys Acted Like Girls on Instagram. That took off. This was like the height of Basic. Basic just started.
Yeah.
Like the word just came into like the dictionary via BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
And did this blog, it took off, and then I was like, I gotta start this Instagram account immediately, and that was about 4 years ago. So, I mean, it blew up overnight. It was a little bit different. I mean, you guys know, like it was just different then. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
as many funny accounts, it was just kind of a different space. So it really just took off, and been able to leverage that.
So was
for
that the
last 4
first
years.
account you created?
Yes, and then actually a month later, I started one called Fashion Dads, which I don't keep up that much.
Gosh, I
It's
need to
funny.
look at it.
It really is funny,
I wanna
and like
submit my
Chrissy
dad.
Teigen loves it. She submitted her dad. I'm not kidding. It like
Oh,
she
that's
tweeted about
amazing.
it. So it's kind of a parody of fashion bloggers,
Yeah.
and I use pictures of dads. I need to like keep it up better. I'm like, don't look at it.
Where do you get these pictures of dads? People just
They're all
submit or you find
submissions,
them?
Yeah. So then I write the captions.
Oh my gosh.
The captions
This
are
guy
written
looks
like a
familiar. I
fashion
think I
blogger.
know him somewhere. I think that's my friend's dad.
That's your dad. Wait,
I think that dad looks so familiar.
Right.
So on trend.
So that took off, and then my personal is Ash Hess, and Literally Buying's just my online store, so merch and stuff like that. And then now we have Girls Gotta Eat, which is doing great too.
For your meme accounts, how do you find the content there, or do you create your own memes?
I create all the original content when I'm working with brands. So, we work with alcohol brands, food brands. Well, I'm not gonna plug all these brands. And so I'll create original content. I'll get guys to do photo shoots and do that kind of thing. So I think that's what kind of makes us cool and what makes brands want to work with us on that side. But it's mostly just submissions at this point. So the DMs are just flooded, email, people now just want to be featured on the account. And so they're constantly sending in photos of guys doing these things. I mean, we hear crazy stories of guys staging photo shoots on vacation, in the Hamptons, so they can be featured on the account. So I have guys
wild.
that
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then I have guys I have a few guys in LA, a guy in Chicago that they just have submitted so many photos, and sometimes I'll just give them an assignment. I have this vision. Can you do this? Because I can't do it.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Well, let's get back to the podcast.
Okay.
So how did you and Raina come up with this idea and kind of get started?
I came up with it. I wanted to do a podcast. I've done some radio in the past, and obviously was doing stand-up, and I was just I think this is the next thing that I want to do. And I really wanted to do it with a female, because, girl power, and I wanted to do it about relationships, and I always have loved talking about relationships, and it's just something I'm super fascinated by and interested in. So I knew those were the two parts that I wanted to put together, was two female co-hosts and talk about this dating, sex, relationships. And I just had met her only a few months prior, but we really connected, and she had the same type of life as me with the social, and I just asked her, do you want to do this podcast?
Yeah, we actually had her on the show.
I know, yeah.
She's amazing, so funny. And you guys, I've listened to a few of your podcasts. You guys have such great chemistry.
Yeah.
Thanks, yeah.
A lot to talk about.
Well, you don't know. We knew we liked each other, but we didn't know once we've gotten to record an episode or go into the studio or whatever, how it would work, and it really panned out.
Yeah.
So we're very lucky.
What's your favorite topic that you talked about? Do you have a favorite episode?
I have a favorite episode, actually. I don't know why I love it so much. It's called "Can You Turn a Vacation Ship into a Relationship?" And it's can you? For whatever reason, I was on fire that day. I don't know. It's my favorite episode, and there's just a lot of funny moments. But I just love anything that can help females. So we did an episode on breakups, and Rain and I both been through terrible breakups and how to get through them, and just to get the feedback of this really helped me in a bad time. And so anything that's really so many times, anything that helps women getting through this, knowing your worth, don't put up with this crap from these guys, and just all of that kind of stuff is my favorite thing to discuss. And then we play a segment called Is This Weird? We started doing this recently. It's kind of our main game that we do at the end, and people submit their weird stuff that happens on dates, in the bedroom. They're crazy, they're so out of control, and they're hilarious.
Can you give us one? Or tell us?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what started the whole thing.
Okay.
So this is what started the whole segment. A girl sent us a direct message on Instagram, and she wrote, because people just DM us all day, they ask us their relationship questions, all these things, and we use it for content for the show. And she said, I'm dating this guy, and he wakes up in the morning and takes a bath, and
Oh my God, I just had a dream.
he's sitting there. I'm not gonna get this on his. I know this isn't Facebook. I'm not gonna say anything graphic.
I
got,
don't
cucumbers
know
over
if
his
I've
eyes.
ever met a guy or dated a guy that liked to take baths.
Right. So she's
Yes,
he's
that's weird.
in the bath, naked, while I do my makeup. And she wrote, "Is this weird?" And I loved the phrase. I love the way she phrased it. It was very funny.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "That's a great title for a
Yeah.
segment." But that's what started it. Morning bath guy.
That's too much.
It's so weird.
I need to know how long are the baths, Who's it's
who
like
has
a
that
quick
kind of time?
soak. Exactly.
What is your life that you can just I was late here, I didn't even shower. A bath?
Yeah, no. Are you getting bath salts? Is he going to Lush on the weekends?
That would be a great gift for him.
How's he spending his
Right, you know what to get him for the holidays.
Oh my
Bath
God.
products.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we get a lot of, weird sex stuff because
Yeah.
people want to talk about that and fetishes and stuff, but I think the funnier ones are like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like weird, funny, quirky stuff that's happening to these mostly women, and they're like, is this weird? And with that, we play it with our guests, we play it at
Yeah.
the live show. It's just kind of become our signature thing.
Oh, that's so fun.
How do you guys choose the guests you're gonna have and then kind of like build a show around them, or is it just like kind of as the conversation goes?
Yeah, and now we're at the point where we still want to do episodes on our own because I think people like them and we like doing them. So maybe we have like 3 guests a month and then we have an episode with just us. So
Yeah.
it's not a guest like every time. Raina chooses a lot of them. Like we collaborate, obviously we agree. We just like really interesting guests. Like we don't ever want to. We've done it like once. We don't want to have people from The Bachelor or from reality
Yeah.
shows. Like I watch all those shows, but we don't want to do that. We want interesting people. We just had a sex therapist on this past episode on Monday.
Yeah.
I saw you were like
It's
laying
so
on the
much-
couch.
Yeah, we like took a funny picture. He had such an amazing like wealth of information
Yeah.
and the 12-ish style. We just want like, and comedians are always great. So
Yeah.
the funnier the better. We don't want people to take themselves too seriously because we don't, and it's just kind of.
Do you have a dream guest?
Probably the Obamas.
Oh, would you ask that? Talk about your sex life.
Relationship goals. No.
Whoa.
I know we joke that we're like,
That
what
would
if we
be
could
so
get?
good.
Yeah, for me, Chelsea Handler has always been my,
Oh my God,
idol.
yeah.
She's why I wanted to go into stand up. So for her, that's like would just be my big get, I guess. But and the Obamas, if they're listening,
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah, they watch this show.
all their
They never miss
relationship
it.
advice.
They never miss it.
They never miss it.
So the podcast is called Girls Gotta Eat. So what are some of your favorite restaurants in the city? Do you ever eat on the show?
I don't know if people want to hear that. in the studio. We had a joke that Raina would always bring, like, our studio's close by.
Yeah.
And she would go to this, like, one of those little markets and then get the, like, nastiest food and bring it to the studio, like salmon, broccoli raw. But we would be like, oh my God, they would have to, like, air the studio out after we left. We'd be like, you have to stop bringing fish into this studio.
Yeah.
We still do sometimes. Every time we would record, we would eat at a place called Ozatar, which is I live in the East Village, so it's in my neighborhood. It's Lebanese, Greek-ish, and it's our favorite restaurant. So always want to plug them. We love them so much.
Yeah.
We still go all the
I've
time.
seen you guys post
I'm
about
going
that
tomorrow.
place.
They do like this tableside shawarma. It's incredible.
That sounds
So
amazing.
that's. I mean, I live in the East Village. I feel like it's the best restaurants. Nicoletta is one of my favorite for pizza and pasta.
Ooh, I need to try it. I haven't been.
I live right by this dog cafe. I go there a lot. Boris and
that.
Horton, yeah.
I haven't been there.
It's like the premier dog place in Manhattan.
The premiere.
They have, like,
Borrow
top of the line.
Borrow a dog, Jules, and go
I'll take
over there.
No, there's a dog. Like I've met up with dogs from Instagram there. Like I've got like
Dates?
Dates with dogs?
there was a dog I was DMing with, and I wanted to meet up with this dog so badly, and I saw they were always at this place. It's on my corner.
Yeah.
It's 12th and A, and so I was like, hey. I see
Hey,
you guys are
you.
at Boris and Horton. She was like, come on over. So like went and met up with this dog and like hung out with it for an hour.
I respect that because there's
Right.
one dog on Instagram that I would do that.
Charlie?
Sweet baby Charlie. We met this dog at the Human's Best Friend pop-up, and someone told me I was the most terrifying person they'd ever met after they saw how I reacted to this
You
dog.
acted, yeah.
I was like taking
This dog
stalker
is so
photos.
cute. It looked like a little like walking pillow,
Oh
like
my
a pillow
gosh.
puff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna DM her after
DM
this
dogs,
show.
not dudes. Like that's all I can
Yeah,
do.
dogs, not dudes.
Like I'm not DMing dudes. That's just only dogs.
No,
like
only.
I'm only sliding into dogs' DMs.
restaurants.
Well, then you got to go to Human's Best Friend because you'll meet a lot of dogs there.
Yeah. I mean, I have a
Pickup
dog.
spot for dogs.
Dewey.
Yeah, I have this big dog,
Dewey
but
would love
he's
the
not
Human's
super
Best Friend.
social. So like sometimes I'll go out without him and meet other dogs. Like don't.
You come back and he's just like, I know what you
I
did.
know where you were.
I know.
I can smell it on you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
thanks for
and
having me.
Please let everyone know where they can follow you. How many accounts? All of them.
All
Say
of them. I mean, I like to promote my personal account, Ash Hess on Instagram and Twitter. I do Twitter too, and obviously, Girls Gotta Eat is the main thing that we're plugging these days. So Girls Gotta Eat podcast on Instagram, and then just search it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find your
Yeah,
podcast.
it's great. It's funny, informative. So definitely listen. And thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.